The number of tools or point solutions that complement a CRM solution or marketing automation platform is still growing. A solution for social media management with a focus on X, the former Twitter, is HypeFury. Hasn't Twitter lost its shine as a social media channel after the takeover by Elon Musk? And what added value does a tool like HypeFury have in practice? These and other questions were discussed in my conversation with the co-founder and CMO of this platform, Yannick Wijs. Hi Yannick, good talking to you today. First of all, I'd like to start off with the name, the HypeFury name as a point solution in social media management. What does the name signify? What does it mean?
That's a good question. So I didn't start HypeFury. My co-founder did, Sammy. And back in the days, like in just a couple of days, he created HypeFury, but he didn't have a name yet. And he simply used, I don't know, I think it was a GitHub name generator or something. And he wanted something powerful with something, that resembled virality. And this was the name that came out. It was just as simple as that. So,
well, the name definitely sticks, that's for sure. What doesn't stick as well is, of course, the number of followers as well as advertisers to the X platform. Quite a few advertisers and followers have actually left Twitter after the changes that Elon Musk has made to the platform. You as a platform in HypeFury are still sticking to Twitter or X as your primary platform. Is there still life for X after Elon?
Yeah, there definitely is. So we've seen people leave X, definitely, but we've also seen a lot of people come to X. So I think it's still a very good platform to be there as a content creator and maybe also as a lurker. As a business, I would say, it's a little bit less interesting because, Elon makes decisions fast, he ships fast, but it also, means that we could be in trouble pretty fast if he, makes any changes that really impact us. So, over the course of the last few months, we have decided to, not stay so dependent on X, where before we were like, this is just publicly traded company, they're not going to do anything stupid, while now it's a different story. So we've really, divested in Twitter and invested more in adding automations for different platforms.
Who do you consider to be the typical HypeFury user, or in other words, who benefits most from using this platform?
Yeah, so we focus mostly on, we call them creators, or they call themselves creators, coaches, people who have or want to build a side business. Not so much big corporates or large agencies with complicated workflows. For us, it's pretty straightforward. You can add your assistant, but they can do all the things you can do with your account. So we don't have any like approval flows and stuff like that. So it's a really straightforward tool, but also then built for mostly one-person businesses.
And how could other B2B companies in SMB or enterprise segments also benefit from using HypeFury as a platform? For instance, by using their thought leaders to better leverage social media.
Yeah, they could definitely. What you often see maybe as like an SMB owner, he or she might be, the face of the brand, might be out there, might be on LinkedIn or Twitter. But you usually see that, when business size starts to creep above 10, that, the first marketer is there or agencies are hired. So it's less likely that they would use a tool like HypeFury, but more better suited tools.
Well, we've known each other for quite a few years already, Yannick, and you've come to know me, I believe, as a guy who puts quality over quantity. Now, tools like HypeFury and other social media management tools, they seem to enable the user to beef up one's sheer production of tweets and social posts. I'm just wondering, what is your opinion as to keeping the balance right between the sheer volume on the one hand and the quality of your updates on the other hand?
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe a bit complicated answer, but I would, if you can't post once a day, then you probably shouldn't be on social media. And so, even if that's like lowish quality, you need to be there and at least post, I would say, once a day on your own timeline. For a lot of people, like when they're starting to build their own audience, they don't have a lot of followers, and platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn, they don't really have a discoverability feature. And so if you post something on TikTok and it's good, then it'll get a lot of attention, even though you might not have any followers. That's a bit different on Twitter and LinkedIn. So when you start out on your journey as a creator or as a business owner who wants to build an audience and attract clients, you need to find your tribe. You need to find people that are like-minded or are interesting to you, and start commenting on their posts first. And that will give you also a sense of, okay, this comment of mine, that was liked a lot. Why was it liked a lot? Could I create something standalone from this comment? And then you can start posting that on your own timeline as well. And so, slowly you'll start building not just an audience, but also a sense of what kind of posts work and what quality is to the people you want to attract. And so, yeah, there's a difference between, creating posts that get you likes, and posts that you like to write. And so there needs to be like I would say, if you only write to get engagement, but you don't enjoy writing, then it's probably not a good long-term thing to do. And you also need to think, okay, what's really interesting to me to write about, and what's also, liked by people, and try and find a combination there. And you just need to rinse and repeat and put in the reps, and then you'll get your results from that, and that will determine quality as well.
Now, within the HypeFury platform, I quite like the section Inspiration, which offers a number of suggestions for you as a user based on a number of topics, on a number of themes. Where did the inspiration for the inspiration section come from? Was it AI generated, or did you use any other source?
Yeah, it's basically people on our team, and me included. We just looked around in about 12 different niches, like what are interesting posts, what can people take something from, make their own, maybe add their perspective to something that was mentioned. So it's not really a query like select all the tweets that have more than 1,000 likes or something like that. It's more like a thought-provoking post could also be good, even though it doesn't have a lot of traction. We also added questions to your inspiration deck, because people usually respond to questions with an answer, and we have you could call them frameworks, where we give you a sentence, and if you fill in one or two blanks in that sentence, you have a post. So it's really low effort, I would say, to start producing content. And for a lot of people, it's really hard to get started. There are a lot of lurkers online, but not a lot of content producers. And so we want to, try and make it as easy as possible to make your first steps as a content creator.
When I look at my timeline on Twitter, but especially LinkedIn, the number of people producing content seems to be on the rise. At the same time, most people allegedly still merely consume and lurk for other people's content. What is the ratio right now between people actually producing content and observing content?
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but I thought it was 80 or 90% of people just scroll and consume, and a part of those, they like your content, they might repost your content, but only very small subset actually, I would consider being a true content creator.
Right. Now, I noticed there is also a functionality within HypeFury called Auto DM, Auto Direct Messaging. For instance, in a sequence where, first of all, you've invited your followers to like and comment on a specific post in order to get, for instance, an ebook or a white paper. Personally, I get a little annoyed, a little allergic to such requests. And I'm just wondering, does that still work these days in order to grow your follower base, in order to generate leads?
Yeah, the short answer is yes, it does. And so even on LinkedIn, you'll see these posts where somebody is, talking about, I don't know, a framework, or he's mentioning something in a video. And then you think by yourself, oh, that's interesting. I also want to use that. And then in the post, you'll see, yeah, just comment with growth or ebook, and I'll message it to you. But yeah, it is something, and we can automate this on Twitter and Instagram. You can't automate it on LinkedIn, but it is something that works. It pleases the algorithm. If a lot of people comment, then your post will get more traction. But it is true that you might get a little bit of a rash in your face. You might think like, am I? It's yeah. I was thinking of a word, but I'm not going to mention it. It's a version of selling yourself in order to get more attention. But that's also what social media is about. And I would say as a new content creator, I also use it, and I've gained thousands of followers by doing it. But I've stopped doing it as well. And so you have to make your own decision and say, well, it's a nice stepping stone to get me from, I don't know, a few hundred or maybe 1,000 followers to a few thousand followers. And then that bump will help me just to grow faster organically. But some people, we have customers that have over 100,000 followers and they still do it. They don't look at themselves like, they're selling out their belief system. They just think this works. I'm going to do it because the algorithm likes it. And it works for them.
Yeah. Speaking of increasing one's reach, of course, in B2B, growing one's reach organically is a longer term effort. It doesn't happen overnight. I'm wondering, what is a kind of rule of thumb in order to increase or preferably double one's reach by using a platform like HypeFury?
Yeah, so if you only have like 10 minutes a day, it's going to take a while. But if you spend, I would say, an hour a day, I think it's reasonable to say that within 30 days, you can grow from near zero to 1,000 followers. And the crux is mostly like, can you follow the right people? And can you, add enough value to their posts? Not even to your own timeline, but can you be funny enough, interesting enough, add enough value to what they say for their followers to start noticing you? Because mostly, like if somebody has 100,000 followers, you have 3 followers, then those influencers, quote unquote, they won't really, notice you. But it's not the influencers you're after, it's actually the followers of those influencers. So those 100,000 people are way more interesting to you because they also might have 3 followers, or they might also be interesting in the same topics you're interested in. And it's like a sales funnel. People first need to see your name, then they might check out your profile, and then they might start following you. And so, one, it's a great way to just reach more people because of the discoverability. If you don't have any followers, people won't see your posts on your own timeline. But it's also a great way to start flexing your writing muscles and start seeing, okay, what type of content do people really like? What can I then post on my own timeline? And if you do this every day for 30 days, interact with a lot of those influencers, 30, 40, 50 times a day, and post once or twice or maybe 3 times a day on your own timeline, you'll definitely see growth. And I've seen many people do this. It's a bit time consuming, but it's very doable.
Well, I'll definitely take you up on the challenge, Yannick. When you refer to the sources of inspiration for your platform that seem to be fully handpicked and is quite far off from all the buzz and the hype around AI, is artificial intelligence on the HypeFury roadmap at all?
We used to have AI, but we removed it a few weeks ago, or maybe a few months ago by now. But I think we've had 3 people that complained. What we've seen was that AI, it's a hype and it's real, but for content creation, we think it's just not good enough. You can pretty easily see that this is just a robot that's writing. We don't want to encourage robots talking to robots on social media. We don't think that's a a good way to go. And so yeah, we've just decided to move away from AI because our customers, yes, they also use ChatGPT to get inspiration, to get a bit of writing help, but the best way to get interesting online is to lead an interesting life. And if you need to compensate that all the time by using ChatGPT, then you're not a really interesting person to follow. And so that's also one of the reasons we decided to move away and just double down on helping people, create from just one piece of content, create literally many different versions for different platforms natively, and that will, get them a lot more reach without them having to use ChatGPT.
Well, that's quite a refreshing sound in all of the turbulence around AI these days, Yannick. And regarding the roadmap, what are you especially excited about regarding the roadmap moving forward?
Yeah, so we just released something that's called Tweet to Reel. And so from a static post, we actually make a video for you. And so we select your best tweets, and from that, like literally with a click, you'll have a video you can post on Instagram. And we see like there's a real opportunity for video, not just on Twitter, but on multiple platforms. So we're now working on and are close to releasing our next new feature where you can connect your YouTube channel, and from the videos you've uploaded, you can create snippets, and we will share them with native video on Twitter and LinkedIn and wherever. And so it'll get a boost from the algorithm because they like native video instead of just including a link from YouTube on Twitter. And it's a way to select the best parts from your video, attract people to start watching, and then maybe entice them to watch the rest on YouTube. So that's what we're working on right now.